Everyone can have high blood sugar or hyperglycemia from time to time. It can happen anytime when we eat excessive amounts of sugary or starchy carbohydrates, as these are broken down into glucose and released into the bloodstream. Chronically elevated blood sugar and insulin can lead to type 2 diabetes. In this video, I'll discuss the 10 signs of high blood sugar that you can't ignore. If you notice any of these high blood sugar or hyperglycemia symptoms, you should take action and change your diet immediately for your own good. These high blood sugar symptoms is your body's way of telling you to stop eating whatever you're eating. Let's start with the first sign of high blood sugar: mood swings. We need stable blood glucose levels for stable mood. Excess blood sugar is known to cause anger or sadness in some people, while low blood sugar has been associated with nervousness. How does blood sugar affect our mood? The same hormones that regulate blood glucose levels also regulate stress levels. When you're overly stressed, your glucose can get elevated, and when your glucose is elevated, you can get overly stressed. So if you experience sudden mood changes, you feel annoyed or angry all the time, you should look into ways to keep your blood glucose as stable as possible. Avoid refined carbohydrates and incorporate some relaxing activities into your life. Simple things such as going for a walk more often or meditating for 5 minutes a day. The second sign of high blood sugar is excessive thirst and frequent urination. That's also a symptom of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. So if you notice that you need to urinate more frequently and that you're really thirsty, especially after your meals, that could signal that your blood sugar is out of control. When our blood glucose levels are elevated, let's say after eating a sandwich or drinking a can of Coke, it causes a blood sugar overload that then leads to our bodies trying to get rid of all of that glucose. We need only 1 teaspoon of glucose in our blood at a given time. If it exceeds that 1 teaspoon, let's say you ate something that is considered normal nowadays, something like a sandwich and a can of Coke, you will easily get 15 to 20 teaspoons of glucose. The third hyperglycemia symptom is weight gain. How is weight gain linked to high blood sugar? When you have chronically elevated blood glucose, you also have chronically elevated insulin. Insulin takes glucose from the blood and brings it to the cells, where it can either be used or stored for later in the form of glycogen and body fat. Insulin is the main fat storage hormone. When you have chronically elevated glucose and insulin, it makes you gain weight, especially around the belly. Insulin is the hormonal trigger of weight gain. The fourth most common symptom of high blood glucose is blurry vision. Sugar holds onto fluids. Excess sugar causes swelling of the eye's lens, which then leads to blurry vision. It should get back to normal after your blood glucose gets back to normal. However, you should never ignore it. Look back at what you ate. Check how many carbs were in this meal. Carbs break down into glucose. We should try to reduce that glucose as much as possible. You should avoid foods that cause you blurry vision. The fifth sign of high blood sugar is recurring and frequent infections. When you have chronically elevated blood sugar, your immune system gets suppressed. Glucose and vitamin C molecules are very similar, and they compete for getting into the cells. Our immune cells, white blood cells, help our bodies to fight infections. These white cells require high concentrations of vitamin C so that they could do their job. When your blood glucose is normal, vitamin C concentration is high in white blood cells. They are able to destroy the maximum number of bacteria and viruses that are attacking us. And on the other hand, when your blood sugar is too high, glucose will sneak into these white blood cells instead of vitamin C, which will then result in our immune cells being able to destroy only 25% of bacteria and viruses. This makes us much more susceptible for infections. The sixth sign of high blood sugar is neuropathy. Neuropathy is a condition where you have severe damage or dysfunction in one or more nerves, usually in your hands and feet. So any type of numbness or tingling in your hands or feet could be a symptom of neuropathy. Neuropathy is very common between diabetics. However, as high numbers of diabetics are undiagnosed, they might not even know that they have type 2 diabetes until they get neuropathy. The seventh hyperglycemia symptom is low energy and brain fog after meals. It is very common to have a meal and feel extremely tired and foggy after you eat. This results in you eating, but your body having a very hard time dealing with the foods that you're giving it. Your cells refuse to let glucose in. One of the ways our bodies get rid of this excess glucose from the blood is by converting it into triglycerides. This conversion requires a lot of energy. This could create an energy-draining feeling. The eighth sign of high blood sugar is often feeling hungry soon after meals. People who have to constantly snack are often doing so because of blood glucose fluctuations and insulin resistance. So if you're always hungry, that's another indication that your body can't effectively use glucose fuel from carbohydrates. And this would mean that you should eat more protein and fat and switch to only non-starchy and non-sugary carbohydrates, as it helps to keep blood glucose in the right range and keep it stable. In addition, it makes you more satiated. The ninth symptom of high blood sugar is headaches. Fluctuations in blood glucose can cause headaches as a result of changing levels of hormones such as epinephrine and norepinephrine. These two hormones can tighten the blood vessels in the brain, and this can cause a headache. And lastly, the 10th sign of high blood sugar is itchiness. Any type of dry and itchy skin could indicate that you have elevated blood glucose. And again, these are also symptoms of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. If you're unsure if you have type 2 diabetes, just ask your doctor to test you. So the problem is that so many people have elevated blood glucose each time after eating, because our diets are mostly based on starchy and sugary carbohydrates. So if you remove or greatly reduce these sugary or starchy carbohydrates, your blood glucose gets to normal levels. Don't wait until you get diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You can prevent it by correcting your diet early. And if the food industry is telling us that eating breakfast cereal, bread, pasta, rice, and muffins is good for us, that doesn't mean that it's good for us. They are simply selling these products, making people addicted to sugar and other refined carbs, all while making huge profits and making us more sick. So if you would like to learn more about healthy eating that helps you to keep your blood glucose and insulin low, check out some of my other videos. Also, I've done a CGM blood glucose experiment where I followed 3 different diets and measured my blood glucose. You can check it out after. If you found this video useful, like it and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It helps my videos to get found. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.